Attention duelist. RageQuitYGO here, and today we're here to talk to you guys about something pretty important, and that is a tier list. And to assist me in that, I have my buddy Bang here with me, if you'd like to say hello.
Yo guys.
So I bet you're wondering, uh, what is a tier list and why should you care about it? For starters, if you plan to play this game at a competitive level at all, you really do need to care about the tier list. Um, Basically, tier lists are used to organize meta trends based on usage or power scaling. And with this, you can get an idea of what you'll be seeing at competitions and how you need to prepare for it. So say for example that the current meta is pendulum heavy, and with the tier list, you will know what they're running and what you need to do to prepare for it so you don't, go out there and look like a scrub. And lastly, you can also use the tier list to properly discuss and improve your play or just analyze the current state of the game. So in Yu-Gi-Oh, and pretty much anything with a tier list honestly, there are some common misunderstandings. The first would be subjectivity and personal bias. When creating a tier list and using one, it should all be based on hard numbers and not feelings. Subjectivity and personal bias leads to flaws in arguments, which counters the goal of tiers being used as an objective standard. Therefore, statements like, I personally believe X deck is tier X because of whatever reasons, are generally not accepted because there is no personal belief when it comes to constructing tiers in Yu-Gi-Oh! A deck is tiered because it has objectively proven itself to be so, which we'll get into that a little bit later on. And as a side note, tier lists are not used as a means to exert elitism. It's not wrong for players to correct others on improper usage of tier list, but one must always do so in a respectful manner. Rude and arrogant presentations are only gateways for toxicity and elitism. In the same token, players shouldn't be ignorant of the values of having a tier list. As mentioned before, tier lists are meant for educational purposes. There is absolutely no shame in utilizing this as a resource.
The following method of tiering that we're discussing in this video is non-official by any means, but tier lists are rarely official for that matter. But while it's not official, it's used by a lot of the community because it's simple and objective. So the Poyo tier list is based around tournament tops. However, not every tournament is created equal, they all have very different sizes. So Poyo classifies them depending on their size. Class 3 tournaments correspond to the biggest tournaments such as a YCS or a WCQ. Class 2 tournaments correspond to big regionals with more than 257 players or big European nationals. Class 1 tournaments correspond to the smaller regionals and the smaller European nationals. So every tournament has a different value in terms of points. Class 1 tournament tops are worth 1 point. Class 2 are worth 2 and Class 3 are worth 3. However, a Class 3 tournament win is worth 4 points. So now we're getting into the most important part. How are these points used? So basically, depending on the percentage of these points you have, you are classified in a tier. If you have 65% or more of top points, you get a tier 0 ranking. If you get between 15% to 65%, you get a tier 1 ranking. From 5 to 15, you get a tier 2, and from 1% to 5%, you get a tier 3. There's also another ranking called a rogue deck that corresponds to decks that have less than 1% tops. So here's an example of a tier list taken from the ABC format. On tier 1, we can see ABC with a 31% top rate, Metal Foes with a 25% of points. In tier 2, we got Paleozoic, Mermail, and Heroes, all water decks. In tier 3, we got a lot of decks, most notably Dark Lord because it barely made it to the 1%. Next up was the rogue decks, like Satellarite and Dark Synchro. These decks didn't make it to the 1% cutoff for tier 3, and most of them only have like 1 or 2 tops. So here's a couple of do's and don'ts to summarize the video. Do use the tier list to research what you're gonna face in a tournament. It is a good idea to verify the tier list just before preparing for a tournament, just so you have an idea of what you're gonna be facing in that tournament. However, don't assume that's all that you're gonna face in the tournament. Early tables can have really wild stuff there. Just because a deck is not tiered does not mean it's not a threat. And just because your deck is a higher tier than another deck, it does not mean that you have an advantage over it. That's dependent on matchups and not on tiers. They're completely separate things. And I think this is the most important part. Don't be ashamed of your deck. Just because it's not tiered, it doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it's not gonna do anything in the tournament. Just go and have fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful for you guys. And here Bang signing out, and my friend
Bye. We're hanging out. Bye.